Hey everybody, what's up? This is Kattastrophe Art, and what you're going to be watching as I speak to your wonderful ears is a time lapse of me coloring in one of my original characters, Kyo. And I am doing a series of bust sketches for a little hashtag called maysketchaday. And I know it does seem a little contradictory in a way because I'm obviously coloring, not sketching. But if you'd like to catch me doing some sketches for the maysketchaday duration, I'll be doing those live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/kattastropheart. I'm live on Tuesdays and Fridays between 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, because times are weird and quarantine is still going on where I live right now, I have a little more time on my hands, so there are some spontaneous streams on other days of the week. But right now I'm utilizing some of that extra time to kind of fiddle around with making YouTube videos and kind of getting a little more familiar with video editing and a little more comfortable with it. So this is kind of also an experiment, a YouTube experiment, if you will, but I figure I can use these sketches to be colored in. When I started the sketches, I hadn't really known definitively that I would be using colored pencil. Once that became apparent, I realized that I didn't want to stream it because colored pencil takes forever. But due to the size of these sketches, colored pencil isn't too bad, since they are not only busts, but they're not taking up a full page. I can actually get these colored in about an hour and 45 minutes if this particular one that you're watching right now is anything for me to go by as far as timing goes. But it was fun to color her in like this with colored pencil. I hadn't really drawn her and colored her much at all over the past year and a half since I started kind of reworking her appearance and all that. I think I've only really, any color I've done on anything of her that I've done in the past like year and a half, I want to say, was done with marker, and some of the early marker color jobs are pretty gnarly because I was just learning how to use Copics at the time. And then most recently I used Prismacolor marker to color her in. So I have maybe one drawing that I've done of her and colored with colored pencil, and it was a redraw. So I pretty much decided that I would be coloring her with colored pencil just because I hadn't done that yet with her. Since her facelift was done, I like calling them facelifts. But since I had reworked her design a little bit and cleaned it up and fine-tuned it with my current way of drawing, I really, really wanted to do her in colored pencil. I can't emphasize that enough. And it was honestly a blast because I feel like it's a more accurate way of comparing the now to then, especially since I only ever had colored pencil for years and years and years, and so I was limited to just that. And I'll be doing the colored pencil with all of these character busts just because they were created in a time where that colored pencil was the only thing that I had to do colors. So I think it's going to be a really fun and fair representation when it comes to putting them side by side. But the maysketchaday is something where I'm limiting myself to just bust shots of the characters that I'm drawing, just because it involves their faces. That's where a lot of the redesigning is happening right now. And I feel like it'll give me a pretty good feel for if I'm going to keep that character in the lineup of characters or not, just because I do want to work on not just giving story and information to these characters to attach them to, develop their personalities and stuff, but I want to also be able to do a little storytelling and sharing of some of Kyo's backstory in a visual form, since, you know, I'm obviously an artist. So I want to do some illustrating of some of her backstory. It may just be a still, if you will, of a moment in her history, or it could just be, you know, a couple of comic panels maybe. So there's the May Sketchaday, I feel, is a really good starting point and jump off point for me to work with in that regard. So that's part of why I'm revisiting these characters. Like the sketch on the left that you can see is another character, or even half of a character. Not just half because it's a bust shot, but because that character had played a specific role in an old RP character that I had way back. So when I'm going through the old original characters and everything like that, I'm not just going with the ones that were never put in a fandom, if they were an RP character or not. How they came to be doesn't really matter. I'm kind of leaving all the characters on the table at this point. Luckily, I don't have, you know, hundreds of characters. I have, you know, a sizable amount to go through. But this is going to help me work through who maybe they have a great design, but their whole profile needs reworking and stuff like that. So that's something that I'll be working on, and I feel like updating the appearances is going to give me a better feeling for that. Which in Kyo's case, there's a lot of mapping out her backstory and stuff like that. And she had even started out as a fandom-based OC. So she's kind of evolved beyond that at this point, save for a few minor details in her appearance. But those are things that I want to also still work out and see if they can fit into the story and how. But as far as the YouTube channel, I'll be working on putting a banner and stuff like that, just on the off chance that this is something that I want to stick with. So I'll just take a moment to discuss some of what kind of content I've kind of brainstormed as far as what can be expected on this channel. A little later on down the road, if this is something that I stick with, there might be more vlogs involved, but that's not until a little later on down the road anyway. But I do have some ideas on maybe some reviews, sharing the tools that I use, and you know, sketchbooks, paper, you know, my preferred mediums, maybe some challenges where I'm using stuff that I have that I haven't touched, or I've touched once, wasn't crazy about. Or it could be something like me doing drawings with my non-dominant hand. There's a whole bunch of different ideas that I have in mind that I might be kind of fiddling around with. They'll all be art-based at their core, or art-related in some way, shape, or form. That much I do know. And, you know, over time, maybe I'll get better with video editing. It'll be a little less of a hassle. But for now, I'm going to start off simple with some of the time-lapse videos and stuff like that. I don't want to promise that, you know, my face will be in the videos. Like, honestly, if you want to see my face, that's also up on Twitch. But this is just another platform that I want to start kind of working on posting to, just because there are some major life changes upcoming in the fall, assuming everything, you know, turns out okay with the current events in the real world. But I kind of want to dip my toes in and give this another shot and kind of learn how to do the video editing on PC. But for the most part, next couple of videos that you see here are probably going to be me doing colored pencil work on some of the sketches that I've done. And if you want to catch me and interact in real time, you can go to twitch.tv/catastropheart. And I am live Tuesdays and Fridays between 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know I already said that, but I'm also live on various days of the week right now because of quarantine. But if you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate your face, and I thank you so much for giving me your time, and I will see you guys on the next one. Maybe I'll put a little jingle in for like the next 20 seconds of the video or something. But thank you so much, and I'll see you guys around.